Welcome into Rice Eccles Stadium for the 2017 6A semifinals. Lone Peak and East, Dusty Lister and Dane Stewart with you. And got all three games for you today. Hang out with us here on the Watch It Network on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. And Dane, this is an outstanding matchup. Yeah. This doesn't happen very often. I don't know. You probably pulled up the history. I missed it. If East and Lone Peak played a bunch in their history, but none bigger than this game today.
Never happened before, Dusty. History being made today in the 6A semifinal. And this is really, I mean, power against power. Lone Peak has been one of the best teams in the 5A classification, now 6A classification, over the last, 7 or so years in their history, really. And East, boy, they've been dominative in the former 4A, now 5A, and now up their first year in Utah's highest classification. They've been really strong, Dusty. They've got a potential huge match next week, but they got to take care of the Knights here today to get there.
When you look at Lone Peak for the last 2 years, they have been the runners-up. Yeah. They had Talmadge Gunther, got to the championship game, lost that game to Harriman last year with Hanson, get all the way to the championship game against Bingham in a classic ball game, lost that one. So now they're back to Rice Eccles Stadium once again. What is it? The fifth time in the last 7 years, or some range number like that for Lone Peak getting to Rice Eccles Stadium, and they got to make good on it. Talk about the Lone Peak Knights coming into this ball game.
Yeah, well, so it all starts with Brock Jones, and this is no news. First of all, first-year head coach. I mean, mention that, Coach Moser.
You mentioned the third coach in that string, in those strings of times coming to Rice Eccles. This is the third head coach.
Yeah, Moser, resigning. So now a new head coach there for Lone Peak, but it's been very similar to the same offense they've ran in years past. And Brock Jones, he has been the main guy for this offense. He's thrown for over 3,100 yards this season, 33 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That interception number, that's going to be a big key today. Cannot turn the ball over if Lone Peak wants to get by East. The running game has been good. Watch for Mason Wake. This is a big, big body. He's like 6'2", 230. I mean, this is a bigger back than East is accustomed to seeing.
When you take a look at the East High Leopards the last couple of years, it has been the Jalen Warren show. You go from Ulatula Town to Jalen Warren, who rushed for over 3,000 yards a year ago. Now Sione Malisi, been the running back, wearing number 2. That is a very special number in the Mattich offense. But Sione Malisi got hurt in the IMG Academy game. Don't know if we expect to see him today. Didn't see him on the field beforehand. But this is an East High team after that, Dane. You were there last week against AF, 700 yards rushing, a state record last week in the quarterfinals against American Fork.
Yeah, Ben Ford, 10 carries, 256 yards against American Fork. And then you had Xavier Spann, also went over 200 yards. I mean, Dusty, there are a lot of guys. Felatoa had a big game. You mentioned Molisi. I know the East thought they could maybe get him back before the season was done. Not sure if he's going to be playing yet today or not. We didn't have a chance to talk with Coach Mattich before the game. But if you see number 2, I mean, that's Sione. And what a year that he has had, almost 2,000 yards rushing, and he missed several games, Dusty. And so it's been a fantastic year for him, a fantastic year for this East High rushing offense. Can Lone Peak stop the run? That's going to be a big key. Their defense has 56 sacks on the season, but Ben Ford's not going to throw the ball that much today. So can that pass rush limit this wing offense of Coach Mattich?
Going to be an absolute blast, and we're seeing right here, find out who's going to have the ball first. When you look at these two teams, it is power running and then a spread offense. It is going to be very, very interesting to see what happens, and we're not that far away. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be the kickoff of the 6A semifinals. Lone Peak and East, you are watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. We are set and ready to go in the morning game of the 6A semifinals. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you, and we are underway. Going to put the ball on the ground. It'll be taken. No, it will not. It goes through the end, goes into the end zone, and we will start at the 20-yard line as Flores puts that one in, and it's a touchback for the Lone Peak Knights and a chance to see Brock Jones and the Knights on offense.
So we introduced Brock Jones, and obviously the senior quarterback for Lone Peak, been really, really good. How about some of his options, Dusty? Brigham Trowbridge, Cody Collins, both of these over 850 yards receiving on the season, and both over 10 receiving touchdowns. He's got a lot of options in this offense. And then you factor in Mason Wake. You see Wake, number 13, going to line up to the left of Jones here on first down. We mentioned he's a big back. You can see it on first down here.
First down for the first play of the game for the Lone Peak Knights. It is Jones to throw. He has his man here in Wake, and Wake is out to the 26-yard line. A gain of 6 on first down. It'll be second down and 4.
And this is going to be the interesting part, is this secondary for East. Last week they played American Fork, another team that likes to throw the ball. They leak Wake out here. Nice gain on first down for Lone Peak.
Tackled by Chase Peterson of the Leopards. Trips the top of the screen, and we have a false start. One of the better players on Lone Peak. Got to take care, got to hold your water, and jumped off sides.
Yeah, he's going to be tested, Dusty. I want to go back to that last point. Lone Peak moves so quickly that I'm going to have to concise my thoughts better in this one. East, the secondary had receivers get behind them against American Fork last week. They cannot do that. Secondary needs to be really sharp today for the East Leopards.
Connor Pay that jumped off sides. Quick throw near side. A catch is made. That is Cody Collins. And that is a first down for the Lone Peak Knights. And, or pardon me, short of the first down. I forgot we backed him up.
Yeah, a couple of real short routes for Jones to start off. The leak out of Wake, and then that time a little quick comeback route by Collins, setting up a third and short.
So third and short is Wake in the backfield with Jones. Staying in the trips to the top, single near side. Looked right, cast come back, was all stop routes. Tried to throw back shoulder to Collins, and that pass is incomplete. It'll be fourth down and 1. And a punting unit most likely coming on here for Lone Peak.
Boy, Natuvai in the coverage near side. Same route, Dusty, you mentioned it. I think it was Collins who ran it. May have been Stosich, but that little comeback route, the timing just off enough. In fact, you see Jones actually look top side, and that was enough to delay the throw to Collins, because he was open there for just a split second.
We got guys having to run on the field here as Lone Peak just discombobulated to get started. Line drive kick will be taken on a fair catch at the 37-yard line. And it will be East High football. Ben Ford and the Leopards coming on. Last year in the semifinals, interesting note for Ben Ford, got injured in the first half, right at the end of the first half of the semifinals a year ago on their championship run, the back-to-back titles for the Leopards in the 4A classification. And I'm sure for him, this is that day where it's like, this is where it happened, and he's not going to let it happen again.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of the real test, too. I mean, we mentioned Lone Peak has been one of the best programs in the state for the last decade or so. And so, they played Bingham earlier this year. They lost. That game got away from them in the second half. This is the chance to really beat that 5A power for East.
And we start with Charlie Vincent. And Vincent gets to the 39-yard line where he's dropped there for a gain of 2. The second down and long.
And we saw them kind of start with Vincent last week. You see Vincent turning upfield. Nice job by Lone Peak. And coming up to fill the gap there was Jacob Mumford, the junior corner.
It's all about assignment football here when you play against the East High Leopards. And here is a big run for East. Slipping tackles to the 41-yard line. And on the carry is Xavier Spann. First and 10, Leopards.
How about 20 yards for Xavier Spann on his first touch today? And this was the kid that, I did talk with Maddox last week before that American Fork game, said, hey, how's the backfield without Molisi? He said, Spann's going to go for us, and he is a really good back. You see it there as he takes it for 20.
So after the first down carry from Xavier Spann, then up the middle, nothing doing. Nice job of the front of the Lone Peak Knights. And it'll be second down and long.
First time that Lame Felatoa has carried the ball today and no gain. Well, they'll give him a yard on the carry, but a nice job by the interior. That's where defending this all starts, stopping that A-gap run on this wing T offense.
Second down, pitch outside to Span. And he has a gain of a few yards. And right now you're seeing a fired-up Lone Peak defense, but now it's a big down. Third down and long. Call it 6.
And this is where you have to be careful because East, they are very comfortable running the ball on these third and long downs. But Ben Ford is underrated as a quarterback, Dusty. And he can really put the ball on a spot down the field. Secondary's got to be alert and awake here on third and long.
Josh Nielsen split out near side. And it'll be, well, he pulled on it and dropped in the backfield. Nice job of knifing through, and it's about penetration against this offense. And it's Kevin West getting the stop, and it is 4th down and 8 for East.
Boy, fantastic job that time, Dusty, as they really locked up. Looked like the timing got a little bit off, and you see coming in there to take down Ford behind the line was Kevin West, the senior. Fantastic job by this Lone Peak defense.
So 4th down, and out comes the punting unit for the East High Leopards. And it'll be 2 returners back for the Knights. Toyolo going to kick this thing away. Pressure got through, but a line drive kick on a bounce inside the 10. Doesn't have to look pretty to be good, Dane. What a punt. Down at the 3-yard line, and it'll be a 97-yard field ahead of the Lone Peak Knights. It's 8:20 left here in the first quarter. We'll take the break. You are watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. Chance to see the Lone Peak offense for the second time in the first quarter. Dusty Lister and Dane Stewart with you. Our commentary brought to you by Tosh Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. If you've got anything going on, any type of discomfort, you're just not quite sure what to do, go to the experts at Tosh. You have a free injury assessment. Nothing better than free. Not having to run this through your insurance or anything else. Go to the experts at Tosh and call 801-314-4040. Dane, second drive of the ball game for Lone Peak, and it's a 97-yard field for the Knights.
Got to be careful here, Dusty. We've talked a lot about East and the talent they have in the front 7. They can really get after the quarterback. Got to get the ball out quickly here for Brock Jones.
So Jones is starting the shadow of his own goalpost. And it'll be Wake on first down, and Wake is met by who else? He was a young man that filled in last year. Nick Harris came in and played that championship game at quarterback a year ago for the East Leopards, and he has the hit and tackle on Trowbridge.
You know, last year he made his debut, as you said, Dusty, on the offensive side. I thought, boy, this is a big quarterback, and this year he's been one of the big linebackers for this defense all over the field, one of the leading tacklers for this East defense, and he does a fantastic job coming up, laying the helmet, and then Jalen Vickers coming in to help get the tackle.
Second down and 9 after that gain of 1. Empty set backfield for Jones. Quick set. Jones rolls to his right. He's got men on his heels. Got to get rid of the football. And then wisely throws it out of bounds. And it'll be 3rd down and 9.
And that time Johnson Hanson, the senior DN, getting pressure. A nice rush off the edge by East, and they only brought 4, but you see it made Jones leave the pocket, and Hanson able to track him down, force the incompletion. Hanson has been one of their better defenders, 11 sacks on the season, second on the team for the East Leopards.
3rd down and 9 for Jones. Got one receiver in the backfield, and that is, I believe it's Wake. And it'll be Jones looking to throw, fires that pass complete to Collins for the first down at the 18. Collins still going across the 20, all the way to the 24-yard line. 1st and 10, Knights.
Boy, great route run that time by Cody Collins. You're not going to see it here, but go up 10 yards and come in. And you see him making that grab. Natuvai there in the coverage, tries to bring him down, but the strength of Collins, how about an extra 5-7 yards after contact?
There's one moment there I thought maybe he just busts loose after watching that Springfield game yesterday. Anything's possible. Yeah. Bringing man in motion. That is Doman. Looking to throw, looking near side. Jones going up top. He got a lot of contact there, and the flag comes out going for Collins, and it'll be a pass interference against Natuvai, and it'll be 1st and 10 Knights after this penalty.
Yeah, and Cody Collins right now, I think he's loving this matchup. Had some early success, a pair of receptions already in this one. Natuvai certainly disrupting the route. Pretty easy call for the officials.
Well, he's grabbing because that was 6.
Yeah.
He bid on the stop and go. He ran that hook. They've been running it a lot today, that stop route, and he tried to jump it there on the pump fake. And yeah, that would have been 6 points had he not done that.
Have another look at the bottom of your screen there, Dusty. You just saw it coming up, trying to bite on that, and it's a secondary that will take some risks.
1st and 10 at the 39-yard line, and it's Wake on 1st down, and Wake is gobbled up and then thrown down to the ground with some authority. That's Apu Ika, one of the top defensive linemen in the state of Utah.
I mean, look at the strength here. Apu Ika, I mean, he's being blocked, and he's able to get off the block, and then just one-handed just wrestling him down. What a tackle by Apu Ika on the inside, and Mason Wake with a pair of carries still has not rushed for a positive yard, Dusty. That's a good start for this East defensive front.
2-by-2 formation. And it's Jones looking to throw. Jones rolls to his right. He's got pressure coming. Got to get rid of the football. Still needs to get rid of it. He's not going to, and he's flung down. And it's Tausinga with the sack, firing up the East High crowd on that far side.
Boy, got to be careful. I thought there was almost a face mask on the play. The arm came in pretty high. You're going to see, once again, East only bring in 4. And it's a great sign for Coach Madish that they're getting pressure on Brock Jones, and some of that credit goes to this secondary. But you see Hansen there putting pressure on Pudutau as well, and then coming up, number 7, Ami Tausinga. And you see right underneath the face mask. Nice job there by Tausinga. Certainly not a penalty or a face mask call there.
Trips the bottom of the screen. One receiver at the top. It'll be Jones to throw. Rushing 3. He has time. Now fires, and that ball is too tall. Intended for Max Gunther. And the punting unit will come on once again. He had 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line, and he went backwards, Dane.
Yeah, and it's the pass rush starting to get there. That time only bringing 3, and it's Paul Miley, the 3-star defensive tackle, a senior, number 54, who was just able to bull rush right back into Jones. And, you know, they gave up that 20-yard completion, Dusty, but since then they really tightened things up and forcing another punt.
Kicks away, and that's off the side of the foot. A short kick. None of that's a pitching wedge at the 39-yard line. A short field ahead of the East High Leopards, and certainly not the start that Lone Peak wanted in this ball game, Dane, especially after that nice gain and then the pass interference. And terrific field position here for East.
Boy, terrific field position for East. And the thing that has really, you know, hampered East at times this year has been penalties, has been turnovers. Boy, they have an opportunity right now, Dusty, where they can go down and get a first quarter score. It'd be a big advantage for them here early on.
Out comes Ford in the offense. Stymied on that first drive. And here's a give. And a big run down the sideline. No one going to touch him. Touchdown, Xavier Spann.
Dusty, last year it was Charlie Vincent who really came on the scene in the playoffs, and this year it's Xavier Spann, his 3rd carry of the ball game. And this one goes for 39, and you see assignments right up the middle. No one stops the gap, and a nice job by Spann just getting through the arm tackle there of Nate Ritchie, and Spann off to the races, and the East Leopards with the first points in the 6A semifinal.
Xavier Tutu Spann having a very good first quarter. 5:58 remains in the first quarter. The extra point is up, and it is good. East strikes quickly after the short punt. And it's 7-0 East in the 6A semifinals. You're watching it on the Watch It Network on Live.KSL and DeseretNews.com. 7-0 East in the first game of 3 games today. The 6A semifinals here at Lone Peak and East. The next game will be Harriman and Bingham, the Black and Blue Bulls, I've dubbed it. And then the nightcap will be an outstanding one as well, Skyview and Orem. And Dane Stewart and myself, Dusty Lister, we will be with you all the way here on the Watch It Network on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. And our commentary, as mentioned, brought to you by Tosh, the Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. You can watch our videos throughout the week on Deseret News Rewind, all over Deseret News. We're just trying to take the side over. That's really the goal and the mission. Is that ball is going to be put through the back of the end zone by Flores, and it'll be a 20-yard line starting field position for Lone Peak.
Big drive here for Lone Peak on the offensive side, Dusty. They've struggled to get anything going. Mason Wake, I said that he had 2 carries, had yet to gain a yard. That's not true. He did gain 1. The ground game has struggled, and Lone Peak has come out. They've tried to throw the ball. That's been their strength this season. I mean, I think it's going to be tough to run, but the offensive line has to do a better job of protection because East is only bringing 3-4 guys, and they're still getting to Jones. Got to do a better job of giving him more time.
1st and 10. East showing and backing out of pressure. Jones going to throw it out of the backfield to Wake. Tausinga was waiting for him, cuts him low, and then finished off by Natuvai, and it'll be 2nd down and 7 for Lone Peak.
Just really impressive when you see the flow. I mean, there's no one open, and it's good recognition by Jones. They'll give him these little dump-offs all day long because you see how quickly they're able to come up, Ami as well as Nadavai, to make the tackle.
Jones looking left. Got to get rid of the football. Does, and that pass is complete as he is hit. It is Caden Clemens on the reception. And it'll be 3rd down and short for Lone Peak. Call it 3rd down and 2.
Boy, got to be careful. Jones pays a price here. I mean, watch this. Jones going to just try to buy more time once again. And you see gets just lit by Hansen. Good delivery. Send that ball a little high and outside, allowing his receiver to be the only person to make the catch.
3rd down and 2. Missed on a 3rd and 1 earlier. It's Jones looks quick to the out, fires over the middle. That pass is complete for the 1st down at the 40-yard line, and that is Caden Clemens once again on the reception, and it is 1st and 10 Knights.
A couple nice grabs by Caden Clemens here in the early going, and important for them to start finding some success on the offensive end. Just mentioned it coming out on this drive. You can't get down multiple scores to East. They'll kill you. Clemens with a couple nice receptions.
Quick set and fire, and that pass incomplete. Intended for Kobe Freeman. We've not called his name today. Freeman was one of the featured backs in the last 2 years, matter of fact, and it's now 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, I got to be a little careful there. I'm Tololo in the coverage, but Nick Harris, that linebacker, once again was coming over. Not a big window for Jones to place that ball. Squeezes it through, but it falls to the turf incomplete.
Stacked on each side here for the Knights. Jones is going to go down. Had nowhere to go. The whole defensive front is in the backfield. It is a sack to Tennessee Pututau, and there is a flag on the play.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a sideline warning. But once again, I mean, just look at how quickly that line breaks down. And in fairness, these are 3- and 4-star recruits littered across this front 4. But what a luxury for Coach Matic to know he can drop 7, 8 guys in secondary in coverage against a team that likes to spread you out and just get there bringing 3 or 4.
Sideline warning on East, and is that the East squad? I think it's the first time I ever heard it called that way. So it will be 3rd down and 19 as this first half offensively has not gone the way the Lone Peak wanted it to. Jones has time, going deep, has a man out there, and that ball is incomplete. Fans near side want a pass interference, not going to get it. Intended for Max Gunther, and the punting unit on once again for Lone Peak.
Well, I thought that he might have had Thomas Doman up the slot, but trying to send one down the field, and don't blame him. It's 3rd down and long. Just try to get something going, but it's another drive that becomes stalled, thanks largely due to sacks.
Nate Ritchie will kick it away here for the Knights. Gets off a good kick, going to be backing up the East High Leopards to the 25-yard line. So a 75-yard field ahead of Ben Ford and the Leopards. A little bit further than the last possession, Dane, but saw that offense is starting to find its groove.
It is, and you know, it's one of the things, Dusty, you don't run for 700 yards in a ball game having short fields, right? I mean, this is an offense that typically, you know, they don't need short fields to score, and they broke a ton of runs open last week in that quarters against American Fork, and I mean, that touchdown run by Xavier Spinn, that one would have gone for 80 or 90 yards. I mean, there's just no one to catch up with the speed of these East backs once they're through that second level.
So out comes Ford and the Leopards. Looking at a lead, and it's Charlie Vincent on the jet sweep, and Charlie tripped up in the backfield. Nice job on the outside by Chase Tucker, and Tucker slow to get up as he might have caught a cleat in the bicep area.
You see flowing outside, and a nice job getting off the block. That was Spann trying to lock him up, but you mentioned Chase Tucker able to fend him off, and they're looking at him now.
They take a look at him. We're going to step aside. 3:40 left in the first, 7-0 East. See Tucker able to get up. Sometimes you get kicked in the arm, and oh, yeah, it's a stinger and things. It doesn't feel good. And I know some people watching this, played football, like, oh, it's just a stinger. But stingers don't feel good.
Well, and the other thing in this day and age of football where players are faster, they're stronger, they hit harder. I mean, the first rule of thumb is stay down. You know, like if you're not sure, stay down. And let's look at it, make sure you're okay. And good to see Tucker able to run off under his own power.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 as we resume play. Obviously a big series for Lone Peak defense. And here's a give. And one of the more effective plays for the East High Leopards. And on the carry is Lame Felatoa. And Felatoa gets a gain of 5. That is the end of half play right there, Dane.
You know, it's crazy because if he keeps that ball, I mean, you could just see it. There was one guy on the outside in Jacob Mumford, and he had 2 Leopards coming right at him. I mean, as it was, Felatoa still able to pick up 5. But, boy, you run that again, and Ford keeps that. That one might still be going.
You know, that play works against everybody. I watched De La Salle earlier this year play against Bishop Gorman. They ran that play to effectiveness as well. And we got a timeout on the field taken by the East Leopards. We'll take it with them. 2:53 remaining in the first quarter. Timeout East. The East took the timeout. And I'm interested to see what the call is here. 3rd down and 5. Not a lot of times you see East take a timeout to go through a play. So Ben Ford or someone must have been confused what was going to happen here. But 3rd down and 5, a big down in this first quarter, especially for the Lone Peak Knights. As Vincent in motion, they're going to pitch out to Charlie, trying to get to the corner. Vincent could not break that tackle, and he is chopped down short of the 1st down marker. It'll be 4th down and 2. Imagine the punting unit will be coming on.
Boy, nice flow by this Lone Peak defense. And coming up, I mean, we just mentioned him a couple seconds ago, Jacob Mumford. You know, it wasn't the easiest way to get him down to the ground, had the help of the boundary, but hey, you get a hold of that jersey and you just don't let go. Mumford does a nice job of dragging him down before he's able to get the 1st down.
I don't want to make a decision here for Coach Matic, but it does not look as though the East is going to punt this thing away.
You know, they had a couple fourth downs last week, if I recall correctly, and they went for it, Dusty. And I was talking with someone before the game, and I was like, hey, 4th and a yard, 4th and 2 yards, you're built to run, go for it.
Here we go, 4th down and 2. East is going for it. That is Vincent in motion. Now that might be trying to get an offside, and they were trying to do that. Timeout taken by the East Leopards. It'll be 4th down. The punting unit coming out when we come back. Well, Dane, Coach Mattis took a timeout, but no punting unit came out. So took a timeout to go over a play, I suppose.
Well, and he's used 2 timeouts, Dusty, in the last 2 plays.
I'm surprised, now Lone Peak's going to take a timeout. They caught him. So now timeout taken by Lone Peak. Timeout for us here at the stadium. We're still at 2:54 remaining in the first quarter. Welcome back, and we've got 3 timeouts taken in the last, 10 seconds of game time here at between Lone Peak and East. And Lone Peak has 2 timeouts remaining in the half. East has 1, and we are still in the first quarter. 2:54 remaining in the first quarter if you're just joining us here. 4th down and 2, and the Leopards will go for it. And it will be a first down for East. And it was Tutu Span picking up the first down. Go for it on 4th and 2. Got that rather easily.
And you see just how difficult this is to defend, Dusty. I mean, I'm watching from a bird's eye view, and I'm trying to figure out where it went. Ford does a fantastic job of carrying this fake out, but you see Span able to get ahead. Bringing him down was Andrew Osler, but it was too late, already through the line of scrimmage. And I like the aggressive nature of Coach Matich in this East offense. Hey, let's go take it to them. It's been the mindset of this team the last several years in their first year in 6A. Let's get to work.
Fresh set of downs. It is Span on the carry, and on the carry is Lame Felatoa. Lame gets to the 39, don't call it the 40-yard line. So gain of 4, 2nd down and 6.
We haven't seen Molisi yet, Dusty. Again, we weren't certain if he was going to go today or not. But, you know, when you have the performance that you had last week, what's the rush to bring him back, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to run for 700 yards without Molisi.
Yeah.
Who's to say you can't run for 500 yards the next week?
Yep.
And it's Ford running the option, pitch to the outside. It's Charlie Vincent. Charlie trying to get around the corner, and he will not. Hogtied and taken down. And on the stop for Lone Peak, firing up this near side crowd as Jacob Mumford. He's had a very good first quarter, but it's going to be 3rd down and 2.
Boy, have a look. And we mentioned assignment-based. Watch the assignments here. You've got an inside cover, and then as Ford comes around, look at the flow here. Coming off the block, a lot of credit there to Greer, and then Bateman on the outside. Mumford coming up in support. That is defended about as well as you can defend it. And still, with that being said, 3-yard pickup on the carry by Vincent.
Well, that's because Bateman's supposed to widen out with that. He has pitchman.
Yep.
And pitchman, when you got pitchman, you stay on the outside hip of pitchman. Yep. And when he got inside of him, he's there. But now you're having to lie on a corner, and that's going to give him a gain on the play. And now East will take their 3rd and final timeout of the first half. And we're taking we have 2 more left for us. So timeout taken on the field, we'll take it with them. Welcome back to Tricycle Stadium. Don't worry, if you're anything going on, we want to thank the servicemen and women all across the world and who may be joining us, and also those who have served previously. We thank you for your service on this Veterans Day weekend. And I'm guessing it's the 21-gun salute going right now. But East takes their third and final timeout. It is 3rd down and 3 for the East High Leopards. And, I mean, let's say it's 2-down territory. Malisi and Felatoa behind him are part of his span. And it is Span picking up the first down to the 47-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10 for East.
Once again, finding success on the interior. And while he doesn't bust this for 39 yards, Dusty, last couple times they've gone inside 3-4 yards at a time, just chipping away down the field. It's what this East team does. And they just start to overwhelm. I mean, that physicality paying dividends, particularly second, third, fourth quarters.
As Vincent in motion, give to Vincent on the fly sweep. Charlie looking for the edge, hurdles one man. We got a flag on the play, and more than likely this is going to be a blocking penalty, and I think it'll go against Christian Nash, and he'll back up East after a gain of a few yards there for Charlie.
Boy, and an injury on the field. I was going to say Jared Fotu really burst through there, had a chance to wrap up the tackler behind the line of scrimmage. The young sophomore just missed him. And an opportunity for Lone Peak to maybe put East behind the sticks. I mean, the penalty will still probably do that for him.
Tandem will step aside. 28 seconds left in the first quarter. You're watching the 6A semifinals on Watch It Network. And welcome back into Tricycle Stadium. You see, we haven't been able to pick up the number of the injured East High Leopard. And right now they're testing out that knee and the ligaments, making sure everything is sound.
It might be Angelau.
And that's Angelau. That would be a big loss for the East Leopards while they're still testing him. It was a block in the back penalty against the East High Leopards, but so we backed them up. And it'll be a long first down coming up for East, as it's good to see.
It is.
Angelau getting up. And if they're letting him come off, it means he's pretty sound. And all of that, he's down and he wants to go. I mean, that was a long thing. I'm thinking, well, they tested the ACL, they're testing the MCL, making sure it's nice and strong in the structure. And he pops up and he's ready to go.
Get me back in the huddle, man, huh? Unfortunately, the rules don't allow that. Don't worry, Sione. There will be more plays, more chances.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to sit out at least one play, and they're going to come over and test it, make him easily test the outside of that and everything else before he gets to come back. 1st and 20 after the block in the back. And we're down probably the final play of the first quarter as well. 20 seconds on the clock. And it'll be Ford pitching out to Vincent. Vincent looking for the corner, and he's not going to get there. Coming up and making the stop for Lone Peak was Thomas Bateman. Bateman took care of business on that pitch, man. And there's 5 seconds, and that will be the final play of the first quarter, and a nice way to end for Lone Peak.
Yeah, and it's the same thing, Dustin. I mean, you mentioned contain on the outside, but boy, just stretching them outside, waiting for that corner help to get there, and we've seen them do that time and time again.
And at the end of the first quarter, it's 7-0 East. You're watching the 6A semifinals on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. Welcome back into Rice-Eccles Stadium. We're about ready for the second quarter, and Dusty Lister, Dane Stewart with you. Dane, your thoughts on that first quarter?
Well, I mean, it goes to show what happens when you play East. You can't have a breakdown. And you have one breakdown, and Xavier Span takes it 39 yards and finishes it off. And, I mean, that's the difference. I think for Lone Peak, boy, the offense is struggling, and they're struggling to give Brock Jones time, and they're having to run a lot of underneath routes because of that, and the secondary's ready. I mean, they haven't been able to run the ball much. I think for Lone Peak, you got to do some things to try to open it up. I think we're going to see more underneath throws, continue just trying to open up that defense a little bit. But, man, the offensive line for Lone Peak has to be better. And the defense, I think they've been really good on assignments for the majority of that first quarter, Dusty. But that one breakdown, and that's really the difference in this ballgame up to this point.
Second down and 21 after the play by Bateman. Getting to Charlie Vincent. And there's Span. And Span has stood up and driven back. A gain of a couple of yards for Span to the 38-yard line. And it'll be third down and long for the Leopards.
Angelau back in. You just saw him there. He was the one who went off with the injury just a couple plays ago. But watch him. He's on the interior. I mean, he ends up, Dusty, at the 40-yard line. And it speaks to, you mentioned if they lost him, what a loss that would be. You see his aggression coming off the line of scrimmage at the snap. That's how this whole line works.
Third down and 19. And now we got two receivers on the field for Coach Matic. That is Kongika going to the top of the screen, and it's Ben Ford looking to throw. Ford rolling, looking, and down he goes. The 26th sack of the season for this defense, and it's Logan Greer with the sack, and it's fourth down. And more, I don't think they're going to go for this one. I imagine the punting unit will be coming on for Coach Matic.
57th sack of the season for this defense. Oh, my goodness. And you see, I mean, you mentioned two receivers on the field. This is a pass all the way, and man coverage, no one open. And this is one of those opportunities where playing in that region for Lone Peak, I think they feel very comfortable in their secondary. Going to make East beat them in man-to-man situations, and that allows the other players to go after the ball and tackle Ford for a loss.
And it'll be...
How about Ami, huh?
So he threw me off too. I'm like, what is going on right now? Ami caught that ball and took off running, and it'll be a very good, the best starting field position for Lone Peak at the 39-yard line. Well, this is the drive, Dane. I mean, we saw yesterday in that Lone Peak, or pardon me, Corner Canyon Skyridge game, it took a while for that Skyridge offense to get going, but they finally did. Yeah. Sooner or later, this offense has got to get moving.
Yeah, and to me, I think some underneath stuff. I mean, I would stay with that. Get the ball out of Brock Jones' hands early. Don't put that pressure on the O-line. Some slants, some comebacks, some ins, outs. Look for some short routes for Lone Peak just to try to move the football.
And they're going to go to Wake on first down, and Wake had nothing doing. He's met in the hole by Joe Tysina, and it was a loss on the – well, actually got back to the line of scrimmage. They'll mark him at the 39-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I mean, I don't think Mason Wake – I mean, I covered the game against Bingham. And, I mean, he had some success against Bingham. Not like this. I mean, this is a different defense that he's going against here today, and they've been up to the task here in the early going.
Apu Ika was also in on that stop as well. 2nd down and 10. Gunther, the near side receiver, and they've gone trips one side and isolated another. You got to start running some combos or something to loosen up this defense. 6 men in the box at the line of scrimmage. Jones, down he goes. Hesitate for one moment. And in no time left, Putu Tau with the sack, and it's 3rd down and 17.
Third sack of the ball game for this East defense, and they switch up top. You see the corner go to the out, and the linebacker dropping to cover the route over the middle, and before Jones can even see it, he's got pressure coming right at him. The sack put on by Putu Tau, and again, you cannot, I mean, just got to get rid of the ball quick. I mean, Lone Peak is struggling with this front four.
Jones looking left, throws left, has his man. He's got to get some yardage here. Across the near side, gets across the 50 for the first down. There's a play that can spark you. That is Thomas Doman. And the Domans have had some magic at Lone Peak. And it's a 1st and 10 to the 48-yard line.
Boy, nice recognition by Jones to see that. Now, if you're East, you got to have that tackle made by Nick Harris. Missed it, maybe misjudged the speed a little bit of Doman.
Staying in the spread, empty set backfield for Jones. Quick set, fires again to Doman, has the first down. Actually, near the first down, need to get to the 38-yard line and gets to the 39. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Doman with back-to-back receptions, and now here's that rhythm that Lone Peak likes to play in. No huddles, let's get up to the line of scrimmage, run a play before the defense can get set.
Jones fires to a wide open man, makes the grab into the end zone. Cody Collins, touchdown, Lone Peak.
We mentioned breakdown in the Lone Peak tackling that led to the 39-yard touchdown for Span. This is a breakdown in the secondary. You see that out route, everyone jumps up to it, and it allows Collins all alone behind him. Nothing Hamilton can do, just doesn't have enough space. A great read by Jones to see that, and a touchdown for Lone Peak to tie it up.
Mortensen on for the point after. And the lob wedge puts it through. 8:53 remaining in the half. Lone Peak gets on the board. We're tied at 7. You're watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. And welcome back into Rice-Eccles Stadium. There's some energy been pumped back into this place after Lone Peak able to drive the field and go tie this thing up at 7 apiece. And Dan, we saw some things in the last few plays there for Lone Peak. Obviously, I think if I'm offensive coordinator, I'm taking a big circle and saying, okay, this package and these type of things, this is what's going to work.
Yeah, we saw them kind of load single sides, right? I mean, we saw a couple trips formations and running routes out of that, and the miscommunication, guys getting to different spots for East, opening up receivers down the field. And I mean, that last one, to me, Dusty, that's a simple miscommunication, and the safety just not seeing the route down the side, jumping up on that out. And boy, just like that, Lone Peak able to tie things up, and we got ourselves a ball game again. And good to see them have offensive success, because that first quarter, whew, slim pickings.
Mortensen will kick it away. Vickers and Nash back deep. And that ball goes in to the end zone. We'll bring it out to the 20-yard line, where the East Tide Leopards, Dane, I mean, for all the things that we know about East, it has really been, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, you're keeping stats. One play is what we could speak of to what's happened in the first half for the East Leopards.
Yeah, so 84 total yards unofficially for the East Leopards, and 39 of them coming on that touchdown run, Dusty. So nearly half of their offense was generated on that touchdown run by Span, and really outside of that, Lone Peak has done a really nice job of containing them. Span has a rush of 39 yards for the touchdown and another 20-yarder. You take away those 60 yards, and boy, just not much success on the ground to start for East.
Charlie Vincent on the fly sweep, and Charlie with his best run of the day buries his head and out across the 25 to the 26. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Boy, now that's an impressive run and impressive blocking ahead of him. Thus, you get another look and you see, look up top. I mean, just absolute pancakes. Lone Peak defenders just flying all over to the turf. The physicality of East winning on that first down carry.
And it was Nate Ritchie who came up and got underneath Charlie Vincent and able to hang on for that tackle. 8:15 on a rolling clock. And up the middle with 2-2 Span. And or probably that was, man alive, the 20s are going to kill me. Felatoa on the carry. And it'll be 3rd down and 2 yards to go. And what we know, it'll be 2 plays to get 2 yards from what we've seen here in the first half. Remember, East has no one timeout remaining here.
No timeouts.
No timeouts remaining. I need to clean that up on our scoreboard.
Yeah, I took them all back in the first quarter. When they did, it was like, whoa, that's using those a little early, huh?
So out comes Ford, 3rd down and 2. And it's a give. Nothing doing. Nice job by the front of the Lone Peak Knights. Driving him back, and they're saying he fumbled. I think you're going to give him forward progression. But it'll be a loss to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, Vincent's hurt.
Charlie Vincent's down.
There's just nowhere to go. I mean, coming up, fantastic job by Logan Greer, and then you see the teammates driving him back, and maybe that right leg gets caught a little bit under him. Looks like he's up and okay and jogging off.
He might feel a little hyper-extension there. May have popped his knee. But it'll be 4th down and 3, and the punting unit comes on for Coach Matich. Caden Clemens back deep for this punt, along with Doman, who's up a little bit shorter. Spiraling kick, taking on a fair catch at the 39-yard line, and that is where Lone Peak will come back on the field. Dane looking to take a lead here in the first half.
Going to be interesting to see if East has made any defensive adjustments. Dustin, we mentioned the success that Brock Jones had. How about in this second quarter, 60 yards of offense? And, I mean, all coming on that touchdown drive, and Collins with a couple of nice receptions, Clemens as well. Doman, yeah.
I think of his older brother, Tyson.
How about Stacks on both sides, huh?
Stacks and one man in the slot. Empty set. Jones, quick set. He's got to get rid of the football, and down he goes. Apuika got him on top of the helmet. That was pretty close. Could have been a face mask penalty. That's what Jones is saying as he's standing back there.
Yeah, 4th sack, and that time, well, that one didn't work out quite like they drew it up. You see that right there. I mean, I think a lot of times you see that face mask penalty be thrown on that.
And that's where the visor did not help.
Yeah.
Did not help. 'Cause I'm sure if you don't have a visor on, he's grabbing the top of your helmet.
Yep.
So staying in the same formation here for Jones and the Knights. East rushes 3. Now fire to the slant. The pass is complete. A short catch after run for Brigham Trowbridge. Lone Peak fans want a flag on the helmet-to-helmet contact, but it has not quite reached the high school level yet.
Another quick throw here by Jones. Nice catch first of the ball game for Trowbridge, and boy, trying to shake off the tackle of Chase Peterson. Peterson able to hold on and limit the gain, setting up a 3rd and long.
3rd down and 6. Staying in the empty set here. Gonna look left, still left, fires. Got a man there, and Trowbridge makes the grab. What a throw and a terrific catch. And it is a 1st down for the Lone Peak Knights at the 23-yard line of the East Leopards.
Boy, caught Toilolo looking. I mean, he never finds this ball in the air, and this is a similar play to what they ran on the touchdown, Dusty, but Toilolo came up. Look at him late to turn his head around, and a fantastic reception, another big play for Lone Peak in the air.
What a ball from Jones. And just as better was the catch there. And it is a pass. Jones going back to Trowbridge. Almost made it 3 consecutive completions to Trowbridge. And it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Right now, they've got a combination they like, Dusty. It's attacking Toilolo, and I mean, they've sent Trowbridge running right past him a couple of times. It's worked 2 out of 3 times, and you mentioned plays that you circle if you're the Lone Peak offensive coordinator. They found one.
Trowbridge looks left, Gunther. It's Doman on the catch. I'm running through all the former Lone Peak Knights on that play. It's Doman from Jones, and it'll be 3rd down and short.
You see him right up there just running up, stopping inside the zone, finding a little bit of empty space, and a nice pickup on 2nd down.
Jones, quick set, fires to the outside to Trowbridge at the 10. He's sizing a man up to the 5, and it's 1st and goal, Lone Peak at the 4-yard line.
Brock Jones finding a real rhythm here, Dusty. 12 of 16, 176 yards. And how about the hesitation here by Trowbridge, making men miss?
Fired to the end zone. Can't make the grab. They want pass interference. You're not going to get that call. I'm sorry. But it's going to be 2nd and goal from the 5.
I've never seen a helmet flagged, Dusty, and that time Chris Nash, I mean, he's in coverage, in the future Utah State wide receiver just has this one bounce off the crown of his helmet.
Second and goal. Jones, quick second to take off, and he is pounded into the ground by Tennessee Pututau, and it'll now be 3rd and goal.
But Jones at least gets back to the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's a one read and coming off, and Pututau, boy, just so good coming off the block up front to limit the gain to nothing. 3rd and goal.
Kobe Freeman comes in for the first time in the backfield as Doman will go to the top of the screen, get 2-by-2 formation. Trowbridge, an near side receiver. He's been the star on this drive. Kellen Clemens in the slot beneath him. Quick set, Jones, got to get rid of the football, Slips one sack, here comes another attempt. He won't get away that time. Tausinga comes flying in to get the sack. It'll be 4th and goal at the 20-yard line.
Ami Tausinga, holy cow, what a great read by Tausinga on this one. I mean, you see him right there. He's just roaming right now, right near the goal line, and Jones trying to get someone. Hansen can't bring him down, and Tausinga recognized, hey, I'm going to come up, and you just see him bursting through, and boy, the speed of Ami coming up to get that sack. What a play made by Tausinga.
When in doubt, put that thing in the stands.
Yeah.
Mortensen comes on the bad snap. Mortensen tracking it down. He's got to get rid of it. Mortensen got to get rid of the football. And he does. That is an incomplete pass. That is not a fumble. That is an incomplete pass. This ball will be coming back. But it'll be East football at the 20-yard line. And now an intentional grounding penalty. But we'll see. There's some more flags come flying in. But a bad snap on that punt. Or probably on that field goal attempt.
Whoa. Is that like one of the weirdest sequences we've seen this week, Dusty? I mean, a bad snap and then the holder it was the kicker, retreating and almost a chest pass. I mean, look at this. Nice awareness to get back and get it, but oh my goodness. Just in all sorts of trouble.
Seeing the 1972 Super Bowl, the perfect Dolphins versus you do have a legal receiver standing there. Well, I don't know if he was actually
I don't know if he was
a legal receiver or not, but it reminds you of Ara Premian in the Super Bowl against against the Redskins. I was just thinking of, remember, he throws the ball and just bounces off his own helmet and ends up being a touchdown. I was thinking, please don't let that happen to Mortensen.
Well, and the worst thing that could happen is to actually throw the pick there. I mean, there's no one back for Lone Peak, and you'd be off to the races. The question, to your point, Dusty, is where was 99 lined up? And Tanner Templeton certainly up front, but depending on where he was set up is going to answer whether that was intentional grounding,
so
if I recall.
Coach Matt is saying intentional grounding, and I think they're marking intentional grounding from the spot of the foul. So the intentional grounding against Mortensen and then a dead ball personal foul. So it'll be East ball to 39.
Yeah, so interesting. They said it was a 5-yard penalty on the intentional grounding. And then the 15-yarder, I think you just misspoke, right?
No, 15-yarder at the end of the play. So it's intentional grounding from the spot of the foul.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he said it was a 5-yard penalty on the intentional grounding. You just misspoke. It is a spot foul and a loss of down, which is why East is starting here, unless I misheard him.
No, he said you heard it right, but then the personal foul after. So it's 5 yards from the spot, which is a 49-yard line, 5 yards
from the spot
15,
of the intentional grounding.
Yeah, intentional grounding 5, and then 15 from where the line of scrimmage would have been to the 39. See,
and usually when you say the 5-yard, I didn't hear from the spot, so I'm thinking from the original line of scrimmage. I'm like, no.
The intentional grounding goes from where you threw the football.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this Lone Peak defense, they have been big since that touchdown run. As span dropped in the backfield by number 42, and that is Kevin West.
Yeah, and you see once again, boy, span just eaten up. And I mean, that was very similar to Vincent, his last carry. I mean, there's contact on him the moment he gets the football, and there's just not a lot of room to work with. And, boy, tough. Ben Ford, we were having this conversation, is it an option or not? Sometimes those are straight run plays that are designed to look like options, and sometimes they're actual options. And the point is, the ground defense has been great for Lone Peak.
Pitch out the span. He lost the handle, and then it tracked down from behind and brought down by Michael Daly. And I tell you, this Lone Peak defense has been playing extremely well. It's penetration, and East almost had one of their costly turnovers they've had this season.
And here's the thing. Lone Peak lost earlier this year to Bingham 28-10. They threw 2 pick sixes, so you take those off the board, and they only allowed 13 offensive points to the Bingham Miners. This is a team that defensively has been really strong against the run this season. My question coming in was, this is not the ground game they're used to seeing. They're used to seeing a very different structured ground game. How would they do adjusting to this? Well, they've adjusted just fine. I mean, that's been the answer to the question in the first half.
Ryan Denny, the defensive line coach and defensive coordinator, has done an outstanding job thus far. Rolling near side. Ford's going down. Kevin West, what a drive for Kevin West. And it'll be a punt coming from East at their own 31.
Boy, fantastic. And you see, I mean, all sorts of just penetration. Everyone, I mean, they're planning on that. They've brought pressure around the edges all day. And you see 37, Jared Fotu, he had the edge, and picking up the sack that time was Kevin West, as you mentioned. But, Dusty, they have absolutely shut down the interior and the perimeter of this East ground game. And you try to roll out Ben Ford. I mean, they're bringing guys around the edge to shut it down.
This punt gets away, and it takes an East roll to the 26-yard line, and that is where Lone Peak will start once again on offense, as they've been able to find their footing in this ball game. Yeah, we got a TV timeout. We'll take it with them. 1:11 remaining in the first half. It is tied at 7 of the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. Welcome back into Rice-Eccles Stadium. 1:11 remaining in the half, tied at 7. The Lone Peak defense has shown up. Well, so has the East High Leopard defense, but in the last 2 drives, Lone Peak has found some success, and they've done it in an empty set. There's Doman in motion. Going to throw to Doman. Makes a nice move across the 30. It's a gain of 7 on first down to the 32-yard line.
Boy, and Peterson that time, Dusty, having to make a tackle all on his own. Does a nice job, but you mentioned the motion beforehand, and they just clear out the area.
Lone Peak's going all over the field. They got to get going here. 43 seconds remaining in the half. Jones, he's got time. Now time's running out. Putu Tao's on him. Gets rid of the football, and that is incomplete, intended for Trowbridge.
Well, got to be careful there. The east sideline wanting a flag, and there might have been a little bit of contact. I don't think enough to generate a call from the official, but Nash was sizing that one up, and I think it was Trowbridge up there who maybe got away with a little bit of contact, but again, I'm not defending or pleading that there should be a flag. It was close.
Was close. I mean, he had to go turn a defender, and I'd say he shoved him, but I don't know when the ball got there. Wake now in the backfield. Quick throw, and my heavens, there's some contact on that one, and no flag coming. shoved him to the ground, did not Tuvai. And I know Dolman's slipping, but you still can't shove him to the ground.
Yeah, that one was probably a little worse. No penalty on that one either. You're going to see it at the bottom of your screen, just below the score bar. And, well, I don't know, maybe not as contact as I initially thought.
The ball was above his head, but he's still shoving him to the ground at the end.
Well, and I think the point is he was losing his footing, and so he's going to the ground, and so it maybe appears as though, I don't know. I'm just going to stop talking. Dustin's just laughing, giving me this look like, what are you talking about?
Hey, we can disagree on things. Oh, this ball got inside the takes a nice roll. My heavens. I was about ready to start pleading his case like his attorney on why coach shouldn't come yell at him, and it takes a terrific roll. 17 seconds left on the official game clock, and it'll be East ball at the 33-yard line.
This is where those no timeouts come back to hurt you if you're East, right? I mean, if you have 2 or 3 with 17 seconds left, maybe you get something going. I mean, the way this Lone Peak defense is playing in the first half, I'm not sure it would really matter, to tell you the truth. But, boy, a friendly roll there. I mean, when that ball's in the air, I'm thinking, gosh, they get this at the 40, and if they have timeouts, all of a sudden they're in business. But the bounce taking it the way it did, and Lone Peak looking pretty good here in the first half.
17 seconds left in the half. Out comes Ford. Ford going to go deep. He's got a man. Jalen Vickers cannot haul that one in. Incomplete. And it'll be 2nd and 10. He had him.
Yeah, and that's, they'll lull you to sleep right there. Mumford, once again, in coverage there for Lone Peak. And, boy, I thought the Vickers was going to come down with this. You see him reach up. I thought he had a great opportunity to make that catch. And he's been a good target this year. Has a couple receiving touchdowns for East. And that's one that he has caught in previous matches up to this point.
So up comes Ford, 2nd and 10, 11 seconds left. Ford has pressure coming off the edge, and down he goes. The Lone Peak defense has been outstanding in the second quarter, and getting the sack is Thomas Bateman, and that will be the final play of the first half. 2 quarters in, and we have got a beauty in the 6A semifinals. It's Lone Peak 7, East 7 heading to the locker room. You are watching the 6A semifinals on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com.
Where do you want my camera? Just for there? Yeah.
And welcome back to the 6A semifinals. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you. And what an interesting end of the first half, Dane. I mean, Lone Peak's offense was completely stymied. And the last couple of drives, they were able to find their way, and they made some adjustments, and it started to work. And one of the big key factors down the stretch was an outstanding play by Thomas Doman, the wide receiver, down the stretch of the first half.
Yeah, so, Dusty, I mean, I do my best to try to keep stats, and here's one where I nailed it. Doman with 4 catches, 42 yards in that first half, and a lot of those coming in that second quarter. How about this? Lone Peak 106 yards to -7 for East. I mean, East completely bottled up. The defense of Lone Peak knew it was good, but boy, they have been ready for this wing T offense of Coach Matich.
It was Brigham Trowbridge that had a good half as well. 3 receptions, 51 yards. 2 receptions of those were outstanding. And then Cody Collins had the touchdown. For East High, I mean, this is a team that came in the last week, ran for 700 yards. In the first half, 80 net yards rushing.
Yeah, and, I mean, a touchdown run of 39, and Span has another of a 20. And so, I mean, again, that's 59 of those 80 yards. I mean, they have been bottled up by and large, Dusty. It's been a tough day, and, you know, talking with some people over the half, mentioned the offensive line for East has not been their best game played. And I think for Coach Matich, a guy who's built on physicality up front, I'm sure that they heard an earful from their head coach in the locker room at the half.
Well, these are two. The offense from East, the defense from Lone Peak, that's really where we kind of circled how this game would go, because if you stop Lone Peak's offense, you got a shot. And only because they score so many points. But Ryan Denny, the former BYU Cougar and Buffalo Bill, also was a coach at Timpview. He's done an outstanding job. He's a defensive coordinator and defensive line coach for the Knights. Can they keep up what they did in the first half? And on the first play from scrimmage, very close in breaking that was Lame Felatoa, has a gain of 6 on first down.
Yeah, a couple of missed tackles right through the lane. There's a guy who, defender for Lone Peak, got a hand up on Falatoa, and I mean, wasn't in a great position. Had it just coming across the chest, couldn't slow him up, and a nice opening carry to this second half for the Leopards.
Second down and 4 for East ahead of the chains, and going to keep it on the ground again with the up back, and driven back was Felatoa. Nice job by the front from the Knights.
It might have been Vincent, actually. Oh no! Why do I doubt the Dusty Litster?
That's my question.
I saw him down. I saw like the single part of the 0, and I was like, I think that might be Vincent, actually. And Dusty was right on it. They don't call him the best play-by-play in the business for nothing, folks.
And who needs a spotter? You know? Third down and 2. Big play for both these teams, and it's weird to say that in the beginning of the half. And there it is, knifing through and making the stop once again was Michael Daly. This defense, or these linebackers have been huge since the start of the second quarter.
Yeah, they have. Oh, my goodness. And this one never had a shot. I mean, it was something that we saw in that second quarter. We saw it frequently, and it was defenders for Lone Peak having helmets on East backs the moment they got the football. And that was the case once again. Felatoa never had a chance to get upfield. The penetration by this Lone Peak defensive front was there.
Pressure on the kick and just got it away. And it takes a East roll and then another. So went off of Nick Harris at the 43-yard line. And that is where the Lone Peak Knights will start their first drive of the second half.
So an opportunity to see, East had a nice running play, and then this Lone Peak defense did what they did all first half. And does the Lone Peak offense, Dusty, we already mentioned over 100 yards in that second quarter. Jones seemed very comfortable. He's got 186 yards passing, Dusty, through the first half with a touchdown. Been sacked 5 times. That's been the only real negative part of this Lone Peak offense. But, boy, the air attack has been strong and solid. And does East have an answer, aside from sacks, to try to break up this passing game for Lone Peak?
Start on the ground, and it's Kobe Freeman, and Freeman is dropped by Natuvai. A gain of 1 yard for Kobe Freeman.
Mason Wake had 3 carries in the first half for just a yard. And, I mean, there's just not a lot of room in the ground game. We mentioned it. The sacks have certainly statistically killed that. But even Wake, and you mentioned Freeman's first carry, there's just not been a lot of room to work in the ground game for Lone Peak.
2nd down and 9. Jones over the middle, got his man. Oh, Freeman broken up. Nice job by Saya Hamilton to jar that ball loose because Jones put it right on Freeman, and the big fella could not hang on.
Hey, to borrow a phrase, how about a timing route for Saya Hamilton, huh? He times this one beautifully. I actually like the read by Jones. It's a great thrown ball. You see him looking right over the middle, knows he's going to have Freeman, fits that into a tight window, and Hamilton just comes up and pops him. That's a good throw to get it over the linebacker, Tausinga.
3rd down and 9. Jones back over the middle, and it's overthrown, intended for Clemens. And it's 4th down, and the punting unit will come on for the Knights.
4 straight incompletions for Brock Jones, 2 to end that first half and 2 to start this second half. And it was another one where actually Hamilton started to bite up on an underneath route and left man coverage over the top. If that ball is on the money, that's a big play for Lone Peak.
4th and 9. We've had some punts go back and forth here. Gets a line drive foot onto this one, and it'll be fair caught at the 17-yard line. And that is where East will come on for the second drive of the second half. And Dane, I did not expect to say this. East got to find their way offensively, but we'll talk about that. Think about it. 9:15 left in the 3rd quarter. We are tied at 7 in the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. Welcome back into Rice Eccles Stadium. 9:15 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Lone Peak and East knotted up at 7. And this high-powered East offense has been held at bay. And it's their second possession of the second half, starting at their own 17. And here's a give to Vincent. And Charlie's got nothing. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. 2nd down and 10.
Well, this time it might have been Fotu. There was a defender coming right around the edge and just running right behind that offensive line. And if you're fortunate to give it off, but the quickness there allows him. I think it is Fotu. He's been doing this a lot, number 37. The quickness of the rush allows him to take down the ball carrier before he's able to get through the line. And a defensive front for Lone Peak continues really what we'll call their dominance up to this part.
Should mention Ryan Denny was the defensive line coach at Timpview. And so he's very well aware of the East Leopard offense. And again, Ford goes to throw for the first time, and he's dropped. What a game from Kevin West. Gets a sack.
You know, and sacks were really the name of that first half. Dusty, there were 5 sacks of Jones and then 3 on Ben Ford. This is the 4th sack of the ball game for Lone Peak defensively. This one a 9-yard loss, and Coach Matich, trying to throw him a little bit of a curveball, passing on 2nd down, and boy, just know where to go. You mentioned the great game from West, and boy, he's been a terror. 6'5", 225 senior for Lone Peak. Number 42 has lived in the backfield, created all sorts of havoc.
3rd down and 18 for the Leopards. Ford to throw again, fires. He underthrew that ball, and it's intercepted. Nate Ritchie with the interception, and now a flag flies. I think we'll have a 15-yarder against Lone Peak on the celebration, but it's an interception and a turnover.
Well, I think Nash just keeps thinking this one's going to come to him. I mean, watch him overrun it, and you see the entire way this ball's just being sized up in the air by Ritchie, goes up and makes the grab. I mean, I don't know if Nash just didn't see him or what, but he's expecting that ball to have another 3-4 yards on it easy. If he comes back and turns into a DB, he plays DB for East.
And not only did anything else, Nate Ritchie nearly misjudged that ball.
Yeah.
Like a center fielder, he was waiting for it, and that ball kept carrying on him a little bit. But what an interception, one-handed interception, but a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Lone Peak. Backs him up 15 yards to the start of this drive, so they will start the 44-yard line of the East Leopards.
First turnover of the day, Dusty.
That is Trowbridge in motion. Jones pumps, goes deep, and it's incomplete. Intended for Collins.
Again, you had Nachuvai there give a little bit of a shove on the route. It's Collins heading up the sideline, and immediately Collins looked to the official. Wonder if there was going to be a flag on the play. There wasn't.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Again, Trowbridge in motion. Jones fires, and that ball is incomplete. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Cody Collins. And it's 3rd and 10.
And that now 6 straight incompletions thrown by Brock Jones. He got in such a great rhythm in that second quarter. And Dusty, this one is, I mean, it's right there. And that's one that you really hope that Collins is able to come up with. Coverage was pretty good, Natuvai right there, but that ball had a lane and got to the gloves of Collins, just couldn't reel it in.
Dolman in the slot at the top of the screen. It's Gunther, Collins, and Trowbridge near side. Jones has pressure, gets away from a few people, now gets rid of the ball, and it's intercepted. And they're saying incomplete. I thought he completed it, but it's incomplete. It'll be 4th down and 10. Nice job on the defense there, number 25, Christian Nash.
Boy, Nash redeeming himself quite well, and we'll have another look here to see whether it was picked. How about this spin move by Jones? Whoop! Right through the East defense. That's one way to help slow it up. Nash, does he haul this in? That one close. I think right when it hits the ground, we'll get another look.
Yeah, it hit the ground.
Yeah.
Good job by the officials. We're some few hundred feet away, and he's right there. And Lone Peak going to fake it. He's got to get a lot of yards here. And not even close, Nate Ritchie.
Huh. How about that, Dusty? I'm not sure if it was a particular look or if the high snap threw him off with the rush coming that time by Nick Harris. But something made Ritchie just tuck that ball all the way. And East, talk about fortunate. I mean, they throw the interception. It would have been inside the 30. The penalty backs Lone Peak up, and now it's East that basically starts near midfield.
Not only that, sometimes when you run with the punter like that, he's got to run 20 yards to get a first down when it's 4th and 10.
Yeah. Coach Brockbank here still talking to the white hat. Not quite sure what about. I don't know if he wanted a late hit on the push out of bounds or.
Out comes East, and it is a give up the middle to Felatoa. Felatoa has 2 yards on first down, and it'll be 2nd down and 8. Interesting game, Dane. I mean, I did not see, I thought it might be close. I didn't quite know what would happen, but I think it'd be this low scoring of a ball game.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that is most surprising to me as well, Dusty, when you look at it, the way, I mean, East just has had nothing on the ground, and I just didn't think Lone Peak would be able to shut them down quite like this. Maybe stop, maybe slow, but to take it away from them has been a surprise.
There goes Jalen Vickers. He's gone. 10-5. Touchdown, East Leopards. Jalen Vickers, 56 yards to the house.
All right, fine. You want to bring guys up? We'll just throw this little screen at you. Nice block on the perimeter. And then it's the speed of Jalen Vickers. You're not catching him. Great play call by Matic. He's gone to the air a little more here. And a fantastic finish on the play by Vickers.
Flores on for the point after. We had whistles before the snap. Well, maybe we didn't. I thought the official was coming in to stop it. But 6:32 left in the third quarter. It's 14-7, East with the lead. You're watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. Well, East struck big through the air. Jalen Vickers, 56-yard touchdown, and it's 14-7 in favor of the East Leopards. And now, what was feeling like Lone Peak's game, they got to come back, Dane.
They do. They've had answers in this game, and you know, to me, it comes back to the receivers now got to step up and start to help out their quarterback. I mean, they've done a nice job. Jones obviously got out of some pressure last time, but he's had some time to throw it. Needs when he gets them in the gloves, in the hands, receivers need to come up with catch, help out their quarterback.
Ball goes through the end zone from Flores, and it'll be a start from the 20-yard line for Lone Peak. Brock Jones and the Knights had a golden opportunity after a turnover and could not cash in, and then fake the punt, nothing doing, and just like that, it's 14-7.
Yeah, crazy sequence. And the thing that I love is that we've talked about kind of Lone Peak bringing that pressure around the edge right behind the line of scrimmage and really disrupting this option. And so Coach Madich sees that, does a fantastic job, actually takes one of his wingbacks, Vincent, up to block the corner, and the screenplay goes for big yardage and the touchdown. Great play call by East.
Kobe Freeman in motion, fake the fly sweep. Going up the rail, got a defender there in Vickers. Vickers had the touchdown, nearly had the interception. And it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, you've got to be careful, and I don't know if Jones didn't see him or didn't think Vickers had that kind of speed. Maybe he thought he was tired from the touchdown run, but Vickers nearly able to pick this ball off, and you got to be careful when you have these safeties of East. You try to go down the field and watch Vickers just come over the top and nearly intercept that ball.
Trips to the top of the screen, one receiver near side. Jones fires in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Cody Collins.
8 and 9 of the last 10 throws by Brock Jones have gone incomplete. And, you know, that was a route they came out with early on, those comebacks. Right now, I mean, Natuvai was playing off a little bit. It was open, but you just got to come down with those catches when they hit you in the hands.
3rd and 10. Jones fires to the out, and that goes through the hands of Gunther. And it's 4th and 10, a quick 3 and out for the Lone Peak offense.
And not what Lone Peak needed. Right now they need their defense, who's been great, Dusty. I mean, really, you could argue that it's been 2 plays for East that have really been it, right? And so, but this is where Coach Brockbank and that defense, they need to make a big stand and really help out this offense. Lone Peak likely to get this ball in pretty good field position. East likely to get this ball in pretty good field position.
Ritchie gives this one away, an end-over-end kick, and it's taken on a fair catch at the 49-yard line. So a short field for the East Leopards as they start in Lone Peak territory. And Dane, this is a huge, huge possession in this ball game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is really the opportunity, you know, for East. It's a team that typically jumps on you, and it becomes landslides, and this is avalanche danger. You know, we're in Utah in November. This is avalanche danger for Lone Peak. I mentioned the defense got to make a big play. Does Matic have another wrench to throw at him here, huh?
Showing 2 wide receivers for the first time today. Ford going to throw. Ford fires in the flat to Charlie Vincent. Gets a big block, and Charlie stepped out of bounds. But what a block from Andre Toilolo.
Boy, and talk about being careful. You can't see it here, the throw to Vincent, but he had Josh Nielsen behind everybody. I mean, you see Nielsen coming back in the screen. He was 5-7 yards behind the entire Lone Peak defense. Ford just didn't see him.
So all of a sudden now, Coach Matic thinks he's the Lone Peak Knights, and they're throwing the ball every down. So one thing's not working, try something else, and it's 2nd down and 3. And really what it is got to get ahead of the chains.
Yeah.
Second down and 3. And it's Charlie Vincent. Slips 1 tackle, slips another at the 30. Charlie to the 20. He's gone. Touchdown. East Leopards, Charlie Vincent.
Rutrow. Vincent, what have we said? Got to stop the dives, and Vincent gets through. And this is a tough run. I mean, he able to get out of a couple Lone Peak defenders. I was wondering if Hansen was going to turn around there and see the rush that was coming from behind by Lone Peak, but able to just shield them off as Vincent ran by him. And this is what we just said, Dusty. This is where you start to get in trouble for Lone Peak. He's starting to find their rhythm.
Flores' extra point is good. 5:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter. East back-to-back scores. They lead 21-7 over Lone Peak in the 6A semifinals. You're watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network on live.ksl and deseretnews.com. Freeman. 21-7. And Flores has this ball teed up. Haven't had any returns today. And we'll have one here as Trowbridge takes that 5 yards deep. Make or break time now, Dane Stewart. 5:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter, trailing by 2 scores.
Yeah, it is. And this is where, I think that Lone Peak has been able to open up this East defense a little bit. But Lone Peak hasn't been able to take advantage. There have been throws that Jones has missed. He's sent them long, but the ones that he's putting in a place for his receivers to catch, they're not making the catch. And they're tough catches, right? I mean, we're not saying that these are easy plays right in the breadbasket. I mean, they're having to jump and leap, but, I mean, if it hits you in the mitts, got to bring those in. And right now they are in a dangerous spot.
Wake in the backfield. And they're going to start with Wake. And nothing doing. Nick Harris and others right there to make the stop along with Tausinga. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 for Lone Peak.
You just see, I mean, the penetration up front. And, I mean, the first guy there to disrupt it was Maley, number 54. Just not a lot of room for Mason Wake to operate today.
Trips to the top of the screen. One receiver near side. I believe it's Gunther. Looking to throw. Look left, throw left. Got a wide open man. Just overthrown the outstretched arms of the diving Cody Collins. That was 6.
Boy, not the first time that there's been the miscommunication between corner and safety today for East, and that was a play that Lone Peak had to have, and Jones has the opportunity. This is just pitch and catch. You've got your best receiver, well, second best receiver, Cody Collins, all alone, and you miss it.
Same concept they hit for the big score or big play earlier. Run that out route with the deep route over the top of it. And now they got to get something here. They go to Doman. And Doman gets to the 27-yard line. They'll be short of the first down markers. It'll be 4th down and 2 yards to go for the Knights. And let's see what Coach Brockbank decides to do. It doesn't look like the punting unit's not coming out. 3 at the top of the screen, 2 near side. It is Trowbridge and Doman near side. Look to Doman. That ball's incomplete. Turnover on downs. Had a wide open receiver. Doman sat down. He threw it outside. And it's turnover on downs.
You see this, it's in the screen the entire way, and he's trying to throw it away from the defender, right? I mean, that's Vickers who's making a break on the ball, is trying to get it away from him and just beyond the outstretched hands of Doman. And we mentioned it. I mean, I've been a little hard on the receivers, right? You got to catch it when it hits your mitts, and Jones has had those throws. I mean, he had the one with Collins down the sideline. He's got to make some of those throws, got to make them easier for his receivers when they've been there. They've struggled. I mean, this offense for Lone Peak that looks so good in the second quarter, Dusty, only 7 yards in this third quarter so far.
Out comes East. Felatoa slipped 1 tackle, has a gain of 4 yards on first down. It'll be second down and 6.
And I think the biggest thing right now is the field position you've been setting East up with. I mean, the fake punt gave them a short field, and now you've got the turnover on downs, giving them an even shorter field. And I mean, East, if they score here, you kind of wonder if that is their ticket to a game next Friday. I mean, the way that their defense is played, coming back from 3 possessions in just over a quarter is going to be a tough ask for Lone Peak.
With all that, they've taken advantage opportunities. Yeah. Remember, Lone Peak had the turnover, turned into nothing, and that is looming large. Fire over the middle. That's broken up by the defense of Lone Peak. A wide open receiver in Andre Toilolo.
Yep, another time where East was just able to slip a receiver down the field, and it's not the first time. I mean, Lone Peak is keying on stopping the run, and you have to do that if you're East, or if you're Lone Peak playing East, and they've done that. But some of these receivers have started to get open. We've seen, a little slip screen. We've seen guys down the field pointed out a couple plays ago. Nielsen, that time it was Toilolo, and that time Nash saw him, but a great job by the front of Lone Peak to bat it down at the line of scrimmage.
Third down and 6. Ford hands off to Vincent, and Vincent looks like he has the first down, and he does. 1st and 10, East.
But does it at halftime? We mentioned you loved kind of that little speed give, and you see it again right here. And the thing that I loved about it, seeing it that time, is it looks like it is Ford trying to run the option around the edge, and he just slips that right underneath, running up a B gap, and a fantastic job picking up the first down on the carry.
And it was Felatoa. I got it right earlier, and that time I missed it. So Felatoa with the first down carry. As it's 1st and 10, Leopards at the 16. As Vincent in motion, and we've got
movement.
Procedure penalty. So false start penalty against the Leopards. Backs them up. This is where the Lone Peak defense needs a turnover.
Got to take advantage, right? I mean, got to take advantage of East hampering their offense, and puts them behind the sticks now, 1st and 15. If you're Lone Peak, this is where you got to buckle up, make a couple big plays, get this offense off the field, and get Brock Jones back on.
So 1st and 15, and it'll be an option to Vincent. He's got a wide open field. Vincent to the 10, to the 5, touchdown. East Leopards, Charlie Vincent into the end zone, and it's danger zone time. 27-7, East on top.
Boy, beautiful play, and this is how East draws up the option. And notice that there's one guy outside in faux 2, and Ford keeps it as long as he can, the toss, and then it's Vincent using his speed to finish off the play. How about back-to-back touchdown carries for Charlie Vincent?
And the extra point is good from Flores. 3:08 remaining in the third quarter. East opening things up on Lone Peak. They lead 28-7. You're watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. 28-7. East. Something has to change here pretty soon for Lone Peak, and it has to happen on this drive. And I don't want to keep overstating it. Big drive, big drive, big drive. But Dane, 28-7, it goes without saying. 3:08 left in the third. Now, nothing's impossible, but you're treading really, really closely.
Yeah, I mean, it's thin ice right now for Lone Peak. And part of that is, just the cold streak that Brock Jones has hit. We've talked about that. I've got him unofficially 14 of 30, Dusty. He had 186 yards passing at the half officially, and I unofficially have him, well, if you carry, I've got one completion in the second half for 7 yards. And so, the passing game has dried up a little bit. Give a lot of credit to East, but Jones has got to find that touch, and receivers got to help him out.
Jones over the middle to Doman. Got him. Doman with the grab to the 39-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Lone Peak. And remember, it was a catch and run by Doman that sparked the offense in the second quarter. And they need to finish the third in a flurry.
One of the things, this becomes such a mental game. When you've missed a couple throws, your receivers have let you down. Nice to see Jones get that one to a real easy catchable position for Doman, and Doman there to able to help him out.
Empty set for Jones. Brock fires deep. He's got Doman, and the ball's incomplete.
Yeah.
Probably that was intended for Carson Stosic.
Yeah, that's a real tight window to try to fit that ball into. And a couple of East Leopards there had the safety help over the top on the defense. Even with that, East right now bringing 3 guys and getting some pressure in there.
Jones fires to the out, and that pass is complete. I believe that's Stosic on the reception. He'll be just shy of the first down marker if it's where Mr. Official stood.
Well, I think there was a whistle somewhere. I thought I heard something, and there was a weird delay down on the field.
I'm wondering if I just have,
ringing in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that a couple times today.
Yeah. Well, and you could see the delay, particularly on the defensive end. It was very odd.
Coach Madich is frustrated about something, pointing something out. But it's Jones going up the rail. Oh, what a grab.
Catch.
What a grab by Cody Collins. Mercy. What a catch. 1st and 10 Knights at the 30.
And that's what we're talking about, right? You help out your quarterback, in 3 straight completions for Brock Jones, who's starting to feel it, getting back in that feel and that rhythm for Lone Peak.
Quickly back to the line. It's Jones, quick set, fires again, a downfield. And that ball is incomplete, intended for Trowbridge.
Boy,
2nd and 10.
Trowbridge had a step on Peterson. That's a great read by Jones, and having trust that his best receiver statistically is going to be able to utilize his speed, and he had it. That ball just overthrown. Beautifully placed by Jones.
Looking to the wheel. Doman wisely hooks up. Now Tuvai slips a tackle, and not Tuvai, and now out of bounds. And Thomas Doman starting to assert himself here in this drive, and it'll be 3rd down and short.
I think Doman's been one of the better receivers today. Collins has been good as well, but Doman unofficially 7 receptions and 75 yards. He's been good.
3rd and 2, firing toward the end zone. Ball's tipped in the air and incomplete, intended for Stosic. And it's now 4th and 2 for Lone Peak.
Great coverage by Nash on the play, and this time we've seen East on other passing plays, a little slow to get the head around, but Nash recognizes it, knows the ball's coming, gets the helmet around, and a fantastic job on the outside by Stosic, able to break it up. Nash nearly had the interception.
Big play, 4th down and 2. Really the ball game here for Lone Peak. Jones fires too tall, intended for Doman. And it's turnover on downs. A promising drive ends in no points. And it'll be East football.
And Dusty, I'm with you. I thought that was the ball game. That was the opportunity for Lone Peak to really kind of swing the momentum. They've had success on the drive, and you get a big 4th down conversion, and Jones just airmails that one over his intended target. And another turnover on downs from this Lone Peak offense.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Leopards at the 22-yard line after Lone Peak turns it over. And right now they can go. Slim is walking toward the door at the moment.
Fumbled snap.
And the ball's loose, still loose, if we're going to go off of how Lone Peak dove on that.
Ford doesn't have it.
He's saying they have it, and Mr. Official agrees. So it'll be 2nd down.
Johnson Hanson, the MVP right now. I mean, gosh, you make a big defensive stop and you nearly give it right back over to him. I mean, Ford never got that ball under center, and it was loose on the turf underneath, and Hanson making a big play to keep the possession for the Leopards.
Inside of a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. And here's a give up the middle to Felatoa. And Felatoa gets to the 24-yard line, gain of just a couple of yards, so it's now 3rd down and 8. And we got a timeout on the field for an injury. We'll take this timeout with them. 43 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. 27 East.
Go back. Oh, I thought you said go back. I freaked out.
Good to see Brady Shemanek get up, the defensive tackle. A little slow to get up. And I'm not sure. I thought he was maybe pointing his back, but right now, who knows? I'm not sure what he hurt, but I'm glad to see him get off the field and be okay. So hopefully everything will be all right. 43 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. As Ford rolling far side, tracked down from behind and brought down by Kevin West. And it's now 4th down for East.
How about this, Dusty? This is going to be a crazy little hashtag fun fact. I think that is unofficially the first positive gain for Ben Ford carrying the football in this ball game. And I think if you're Lone Peak and you said that Ben Ford isn't going to pick up a yard on the ground until the final seconds of the 3rd quarter, you'd feel pretty darn good.
Well, they were feeling really good until partway through this 3rd. All of a sudden, the East offense woke up in the 3rd quarter. 21 points from the East Leopards, and they take a 28-7 lead into the 4th quarter. You are watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. Welcome back to Icicle Stadium on a beautiful day. Semifinal Friday, one of our favorite days of the year. And this part of the year actually is one of my favorites, but it's also one of the saddest as well, to know that there's only 1 week of football remaining here in the high school football season in the state of Utah. Dusty Litzner and Dane Stewart with you here. Our commentary brought to you by Tosh Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. If you've got anything going on, kids to the experts at Tosh. Call 801-314-4040 and set an appointment for a free injury assessment with the experts at Tosh Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. But third quarter belonged to the East Leopards. We'll start the fourth quarter with the punt. It'll be Lone Peak's offense coming on the field, more than likely. As the defense in East has done a number, but it's been the offense in the third quarter that was huge. As the line drive kick will take a night bounce to the 42-yard line. And that is where the Knights will begin the fourth quarter. But Dane, the last drive had a lot of promise, came up empty, but it's a 3-score deficit here in the fourth quarter for Lone Peak.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty clear, right? I mean, everyone knows what's going to happen. You're going to see 4 or 5 receiver sets from Lone Peak and try to get the ball down the field. I think the East has made a couple of nice adjustments defensively. Question is going to be, how do you move down the field 3 times in a quarter against one of the better defenses in the classification?
There's Freeman in motion, and it will be Kobe Freeman on the carry. And Freeman with the longest, I believe, Dane, correct me if I'm wrong, the longest rush of the day, 9 yards.
It is the longest rush of the day. I mean, it's pretty remarkable that this is a Lone Peak team. Look, they don't run for 300 yards a week, right? But they have success on the ground. And they've got a 1,000-yard back in Mason Wake and Freeman. And goodness, I mean, that is their best run of the day.
Well, fake the fly sweep, go with Wake. And now Wake has the longest run of the day. Back-to-back plays, big runs to the 36-yard line of the East Leopards.
And that has been the element that has really given teams a lot of fits, that big physicality of Wake. And you see nice blocking up front. Wake able to get through a first tackler, and a fantastic job of using his agility combined with his size to pick up 13.
Jones rolls near side, pressure coming, throws backside, and that pass is incomplete. Intended for Cody Collins, and Collins rolled his ankle or something happened. He's getting up a little gingerly.
You know, that route requires a tight cut by Collins. He fakes the post and then turns out and goes back, and you see Jones paying a price as maybe the feet getting tangled up there. And Collins a little slow to get up, but back in the formation here on second down.
Play action. Fires. That ball is complete to Cody Collins, and that is a first down at the 24-yard line.
Boy, a good throw that time by Jones. Had the linebacker underneath trying to get a hand up there to break it up. You see Nash reading run and then trying to retreat just beyond. Harris, excuse me.
It is Freeman on the jet sweep, and Freeman down the sideline. Popped out of bounds by Jalen Vickers, but it is first and goal now for the Lone Peak, or pardon me, first and 10 at the 11 for Lone Peak.
How do you move the ball against this East defense? That was the question we asked, what, a minute and a half ago? Well, balance. And how about Lone Peak coming out? Offensive coordinator calling a few runs, getting back to the ground game. Freeman, Wake going, and trying to open up that passing attack with the rush.
Jones, quick set, fires toward the end zone to Trowbridge, and that ball is incomplete.
Time you have a scissors route on the bottom of the screen near side, and it worked so well it knocked off the Lone Peak routes. Not a lot of chance for that ball as Jones thrown to a spot, but the disruption by friendly fire of Lone Peak disrupting everything.
Brinkerhoff, the near side receiver on the outside of the trips formation. And it'll be a throw to Brinkerhoff. And that pass is broken up. Nice defense from Christian Nash.
What, did Nash get a hand on that? It certainly looked like he did. He was great positioning. And again, you see just throwing and trying to let your guy go up and win a ball in the air. And Nash, boy, getting a hand right between the hands. And fantastic coverage on the play by the future Aggie.
Jones looks left, fires left. That pass complete to, I believe that was Cody Collins. And it was. He's a yard short of the first down marker. Or pardon me, 2 yards short. Be 4th down and 2 now for Lone Peak.
Well, good throw, and Vincent able to push him into Harris as they team up to bring him down.
So empty set backfield, 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Doman in the slot, the top out inside of Collins.
Maybe a draw.
Jones looks left, fires left, and that's intercepted by Nash. No error to that ball, and Nash picks it off. Collins frustrated, and it'll be a 15-yard penalty on top of everything else. And it is East football and the Leopards with a stranglehold in this ball game.
Boy, I'm kind of surprised they ran this. They brought the safety over. Vickers came over late to provide extra coverage on that side of the field, and it left the middle wide open. I mean, if I'm Lone Peak, maybe audible to a slant or a draw of some sort. That's why I said maybe a draw here. I thought that there would be an opportunity to run that ball up the middle with the safety being gone, but tries to go in the air, and Nash gets the better end of it.
9:42 left in the 4th quarter. It's 28-7. All Leopards. You're watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. Welcome back in. A nice afternoon here at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Little chilly. We were overcast. Yesterday was bright and blue, and today is a little grayer, but nonetheless, and notwithstanding, not a lot of wind, no weather to speak of, and just a little bit colder is all. It's a 28-7 lead for the East Leopards. They're looking for 3 state championship game appearances. Actually, more than that. What am I thinking of? But you remove Timpview from the equation. They win back-to-back titles. Won against Timpview last year. They took care of business against Springville. Then this year, trying to get back to the championship game, and they're waiting for that winner in the next ball game, Bingham and Harriman, and they would love another shot at the Bingham Miners. But they got to finish out this 4th quarter. 9:42 left. And we'll start on the ground with Charlie Vincent. And Charlie has a few yards on first down.
And really, I think a good sign if you're Coach Matich is taking advantage of opportunities. I think I know he would have loved his offense to be more effective today, starting inside their own end. But turnovers on downs, short punts, interceptions, and East is taking advantage of those opportunities presented.
Ford to throw, fires deep, and that ball is incomplete, and we got a penalty flag. Let's go against Mumford. And Session was the intended receiver.
Yeah, and this time I think it was Mumford who really just cut him off. Pass all the way. We mentioned Ford. He's got an undervalued arm, folks, and you see, no real contention there as Mumford kind of just standing in front of him, tackling Session down.
Roster says William Parkin, but Jeff, the PA man extraordinaire, I go with him.
You know, and I was at East last week. This is the roster I used in that game, and I remember 23, and I think that they called him Session, and I just think I stayed away from it altogether. Had conflicting sources, so.
1st and 10 after the penalty. And that ball's loose, and Ford luckily to get on top of that. And it will be a loss back to the 44-yard line, or probably 46-yard line.
Look at this athletic display by Ford. I mean, that ball's loose, and notice no gloves for Ben Ford, and able to snag that ball out of the air to keep the possession for East.
Even Tom Brady wears isotoners on the field. I mean.
Isotoners.
There's a 2nd down and 16 after the loss on that play. One receiver near side, and Josh Nielsen. Session to the top of the screen. And it'll be Ford just getting that pitch off to Felatoa. And then Felatoa brought down by West and a couple other Knights. And it'll be 3rd down and 15.
There's that Lone Peak defense doing what they did in that first half. I mean, a couple of guys there, they both come up, and well, I'm sure Ford thought, oh, we've got a big play here, having both Fotu as well as Greer come and get him. But the rest of that defense for the Knights in position behind them and limiting the gain to just a yard.
Third down and 15 now for the Leopards. Going to throw Ford over the middle and complete, intended for Jalen Vickers. And I'm sure Vickers will like that game next week to be against Bingham. If all intents and purposes, we're assuming that East is going to hang on here. But the Bingham transfer was part of that state championship football and basketball team last year at Bingham High School. And how about the start for him in his time at East?
Yeah.
Pick 6 and a touchdown reception against the first half against Timpview.
Yeah, it was hey, we like this kid. I mean, naturally they always liked him, right? He's a stellar ball player, was at Bingham and has been at East, but yeah, he really came on the scene big in that season opener against the T-Birds.
Clemens makes that fair catch, and 7:21 left in the 4th quarter. We're going to take a timeout. It's East 28, Lone Peak 7. Out of the media timeout. It'll be Lone Peak ball, and they've had some big plays here in the second half, but not been able to capitalize on the opportunities, especially the last 2 possessions. Going deep for Trowbridge, and that ball is overthrown. Had him, Trowbridge slowed up. So it'll be 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. So Doman comes on the field. We'll have trips near side. It'll be Doman and Doman and Collins at the top of the screen. Jones fires quickly to Doman, who has the reception, will be short of the first down marker to the 27-yard line. First down to the 28, and it'll be 3rd down and 1.
Doman able to snag this ball out of the air. That stack formation, they've used that a couple of times here today. This time it goes for 9.
This gives you that free release as Jones going to pick up the first down via his legs, so it'll be 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. As Wake will come back on the field for Doman.
You know, one of the other things, we were talking about that offensive line for Lone Peak earlier in this game. Dusty, no sacks given up in the second half. They've done a much better job protecting their quarterback.
Jones to throw. Incomplete, intended for Collins. Had time there. Try to fit that one through a tight window.
Yeah, it is a tight window. I mean, you've got a couple defenders there for the Leopards back and closing down. Jones just trying to take advantage. Falls incomplete.
Gunther at the top of the screen, trips near side. Goes to the top of the screen, and that is to Cody Collins. And Collins has the first down at the 41.
Get another nice recognition by Jones, the corner just passing off Collins to the safety. You see right there. Natuvai coming up to play the back, and Vickers there over the top to put the pressure on Collins.
Jones, pressure coming, gets away from Johnson. Still looking, still looking, still looking. Now fires complete to Doman. And Doman has to grab along the boundary midfield. And that is a yard shy of the first down marker. And it'll be 2nd and 1.
Nice job directing traffic, buying time, allowing Doman to come back off of his route. Still gain some yards.
Jones looking, still looking. Now pressure comes, got away from it. He had plenty of green to run, and he runs right into Johnson, who drops him for the sack.
Boy, had to be careful. That had disaster written all over it. Johnson, well, I don't know if he almost fell into him. It didn't look like he got a real clean hit, though I'm sure Brock Jones would disagree with that. It was a painful one put on by Hansen.
Timeout taken by the Lone Peak Knights. We'll take it with them. 28-7, the East leads. Out of the timeout, 3rd down and 4. Empty set here for Jones. Fires to Doman, and a miscommunication. He threw a little earlier than Doman was ready for. And it's now 4th down and 4. And today, 4th down has not been a good down when going for it for Lone Peak.
Yeah, they've tried to surprise him a little bit. Of course, that fake punt, they've ran a couple of offensive plays and have had very little success. And, you know, really, I mean, Lone Peak had a second quarter where they had 106 yards, Dusty. But other than that, I mean, this East defense has really done a pretty nice job.
4th down and 4, empty set. Jones looking left, stays left, and that ball is broken up. Intended for Cody Collins, and it's another turnover on downs. Nice job by the East defense.
Yeah, Nash once again, and this is another new ad for this East team. Coming up here and a future Aggie. Aggie's got to be excited about this kid, but you see him going up and just fighting for that ball, fighting for positioning with Cody Collins, and Nash able to break it up. And he's probably got, what, 3 or 4 pass breakups tonight. He's been really, really good.
So that brings out the East offense. They're looking to ice this one away to go to another state championship game. Now, I don't know why it's not a penalty. It broke the huddle with with 12 men. But I believe that was Sione Malisi.
Look who the ball carrier was, huh?
Sione Malisi comes in to be into the wishbone.
So part of me is like, gosh, is this almost like burning the red shirt? I mean, he hasn't played in a couple of weeks, and maybe people don't know his status, but you're up 28-7 with 5 minutes to go in the game, and you bring in Malisi, and now you let everyone know that he's healthy and he's back, and look out next week. But to me, I think it's more important if you're Coach Maddox to get him reps.
Well, nonetheless, Bingham coaches are standing down there.
Exactly.
Malisi
Ball's out.
Put the ball on the ground, and that was picked up by Lone Peak. Malisi's second carry is a turnover, and it's recovered by Logan Greer. And it'll be Lone Peak football at the 43-yard line.
The other thing is you're running out of this wishbone formation. And certainly a different look than we've seen tonight and that I saw last week with Malisi back there. And for me, I think it's all about trying to get him comfortable back in the flow of the game. But, boy, his second carry and loses touch with the football.
So out comes Jones and the Lone Peak Knights. They move the ball between the 20s as they go Kobe Freeman on the jet sweep. And this time East was not going to be fooled. He's run right out of bounds. A loss of 1 on the play. And that takes us to 2nd down 11.
Kind of has the feel of fool me once, right? We've ran that play before, and East ready for it. Nice job, just nowhere for Freeman, trying to stretch it out and just not a lot of room for him to work.
Jones had plenty of time. He had nowhere to go with the football, and now he is sacked. Coming in initially was number 54, and that is Paul Miley. And then also Johnson got in there too.
And I think I said that they hadn't given up a sack. I think that's wrong. I think they gave up an earlier one in the second half, now 2 here in the last couple of minutes. And unofficial, I think that's 8 sacks for this East defense here today on Brock Jones.
Going to roll near side. Had a receiver initially, and could have been intercepted. Broken up by Nash, but he had Caden Clemens immediately.
Yeah, well, he had Nash even more wide open. This is a great job of Nash of just kind of trying to show a bit of a window, have the underneath assignment, and just leaking back, reading the eyes of Jones, and Nash nearly able to come up with the interception.
It is now 4th and 15 for Lone Peak. It'll be Collins at the top of the screen, and then Clemens, Trowbridge, and I believe Stosic near side. Jones got plenty of time. Now the pressure comes, and he's held up and then dropped by Johnson. Nothing doing, and it'll be turnover on downs. East football with 4:10 remaining in the 4th.
Eventually, we all run out of time, Dusty. And Jones had a lot of opportunity, but you see East only bringing 3 men. That means that there are 8 guys back, and it's not going to be a lot of space to get rid of that football. And Jones ends up having to eat it. That another 4th down for Lone Peak that doesn't turn out well for the Knights.
Yeah, we all love to play the children's game, but sooner or later we'll have to end.
I'm glad you caught that.
I'm missing a money ball reference. It'll be Ford to throw. Ford going deep to Nielsen, and it's incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Boy, I had him wide open, and Josh Nielsen maybe cutting that angle a little steeper than Ford was thinking. And if he keeps that a little more flat, that's an easy touchdown. Nielsen behind everyone. Malisi still in this game, lined up behind Ford.
It'll be Molisi. And Sione gets to the 31-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
And how about Molisi? I mean, this is a kid, Dusty, was averaging 10 yards a carry, just shy of 1,700 yards on the season, 21 rushing touchdowns. He plays in their regular season finale, the home game against IMG. Of course, everyone was well aware of that game, and East competing with IMG, the Avengers, if I'm not mistaken. And gosh, one that they're in it until he goes out. He has been a key piece of this East offense, and good for them to get him back here in their late run to a state championship.
It'll be Molisi, and Molisi's dropped at the line of scrimmage, and it's 4th down. So nice job on the outside, but Molisi, after having timeout on the field, taking my East, we'll take it with them. 3:03 left in the 4th. You're watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. Well, Coach Madich was not judicious with those timeouts during the first half. He's been hasn't had to really worry about it here in the second half. And he took all 3 timeouts, I believe, in the span of 5 plays back in the first quarter. As Ford's going to throw, going again to Nielsen. He makes the adjustment. Nice defense out there as well. And that ball falls incomplete. It's turnover on downs as Pedroza had nice coverage up top with Nielsen.
Yeah, step for step with Nielsen, and well, that's just a tough play to make with the coverage that was put on by the senior DB, Eric Pedroza.
For all intents and purposes, we've been talking about in the last little bit, the East Leopards going to be going back to the state championship game once again. Wait for the winner of Bingham and Harriman. And for Lone Peak, quite the run. I mean, you had Chase Hansen, and then Barron won a state championship. Gajkowski gets him up to the semifinals 2 times, but they ran to the McCoy Hill and the Beat Diggers one year, and just haven't been able to, just couldn't get it done. And then with Gunther, they come back, get to the state championship game, lost it to Harriman last year, come back with the younger Hansen and losing the state championship game, and this year get back to the semifinals and then run into the East Leopards. But what an era of Lone Peak football. And
I think that's the thing that really stands out to me, Dustin. We've talked a little bit, but the coaching, I mean, it was McGeary, and then it was Moser, and now Brockbank, and you know, it's almost like it doesn't matter who the coach is. I mean, it's been a program that has been really, really stable for a relatively new high school in the state of Utah, and making another trip up here to Rice-Eccles, and that success continues under the new staff.
Well, you think about it, since the late 90s, Lone Peak, I think it was in their first or second year, got to this 4A state championship game. I mean, Paul Walkenhorst and those guys, and Coach Monty Ball. I've been covering them since the late, 2005. I mean, this is a program that I didn't even know this, the first starting quarterback, Adam Chase. And Sam Burgess was another one, and so many good players as they've been unable to get back to the top of the mountain since Chase Hansen, as that ball is caught for the first down at the 48-yard line of the East Leopards. And but just unable to get over the hump the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned that game, 2 years ago, where the state championship versus Harriman, and they beat Bingham in the semis, and that's what everyone thought was going to be the state championship game. I mean, it was going to be a relatively easy final for the winner of Lone Peak Bingham, and boy, Harriman and Coach Pierce, they said, don't forget about us. Huh? I mean, that was a big upset at the time. Harriman pulling that one out.
And that was controversial none the least, because you had on that final drive on the 4th down play, remember that? It was a pass along the sideline. It looked like he stepped out of bounds, and they didn't call it. So it hasn't gone without its drama for the Lone Peak Knights. And last year, it nearly got that win over Bingham. And now they're region foes. And so now it'll be up to the Bingham Miners to get the rematch that everybody wanted. Pressure comes, and down goes Jones. Paul Miley gets in there for the sack. And a timeout called by Lone Peak. 1:14 remaining in the fourth quarter. East up 20-7. You're watching the 6A semifinals on the Watch It Network. .117 put back on the clock.
You know, Dusty, I'm not that smart. A lot of our viewers are like, yeah, that's true. But if there's one thing I know, man, there's not enough ice in Utah County for Brock Jones. I've got unofficially 10 sacks for East in this ball game. I mean, he has been pressured, he has been hit, and it has been a long game for old number 8.
Trying to extend it here. Third down, throw to the sideline. That catch is made, getting out of bounds by Caden Clemens. And he's out of bounds at the 39-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 1. And we've had a few of these and have yet to convert any. Maybe 4th and 1 with Trowbridge, Doman, Clemens on the field as Stosic comes on and MJ Patene runs off. 4th and 1, gonna run with Jones. And Jones has the first down, pulled down from behind. And it'll be 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line.
What was it, 1 or 2 drives ago? They had it 4th and goal and at the 3, and I thought they should have run a draw. And that was the play that I thought they would have, could have had the opportunity to run. Right there on a 4th down, convert it.
Jones fires toward the sideline to Stosic, makes the grab. Stosic to the 20. To the 15, still going inside the 10-yard line down to the 9. It'll be 1st and goal Knights at the 9-yard line.
Good throw right on the money, but Stosic, nice move to get it around the outside and down the sideline.
Lone Peak not going away. Still looking. Jones got plenty of time, throws toward the corner of the end zone, and that ball goes incomplete.
I've got Brock Jones with 54 throws today, Dusty. Whew.
You need ice for his shoulder and everything else.
Yeah.
Might make a trip to the cryo chamber. Back to throw Jones one more time. Gets away from pressure there. Still looking now, finally fires. And that's incomplete, intended for Doman.
Boy, Doman had that one too. Dusty comes back to the ball, and you see Jones rolling out, and an East defender going to come up. The moment he sees a little bit of space, you see him right there in your screen, and this one's in there, and then watch Harris just come in. Oh, it was his own man. Teammate. I thought that was Harris that hit him, but instead it was Trowbridge coming across.
So now 3rd and goal. Stosic and Brinkerhoff near side receivers. He throws to the zip route, and it's Trowbridge, or no, pardon me, Collins with his 2nd touchdown of the game. As Cody Collins gets in the end zone with 21 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter.
You know, they may not win this game, but they're not going down without a fight. And nice catch by Collins, and the turn inside did a fantastic job of shaking the defender Sessions. They'll lose them, and Lone Peak with the late touchdown.
Nice job on that whip route as Mortensen comes on for the extra point. And we got an offside penalty before the kick. Half the distance to the goal, and we'll do it again. What do you think about Lone Peak in this ball game, Dane? The opportunities that were left on the field. You think of the first half, had opportunities, had the interception, turned into no points. You had opportunities here in the third quarter, and then nothing. You had long drives. I mean, just time after time after time. I mean, just left them sitting there.
Yeah, and to me, I think the one that was really momentous is the interception. Ford throws the interception. They would have had the ball inside the 30. You had the penalty that backed it up near midfield and didn't get anything going. And to me, that was really the one that really kind of changed the tide and put this game away in favor of the Leopards.
The extra point is no good. 21 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. It is 28-13. We'll take a quick break. East up 28-13. Here comes Mortensen for the onside kick. 21 seconds left here in the fourth quarter, and Lone Peak seeing if they can make some magic happen. Mortensen. Oh, they just showed their best onside kick there. And we got an offside penalty called by the official on the 50-yard line.
Shouldn't you let that one go?
Well, I'm trying.
It's on the.
Okay, so he got on East. All right. I take it all back. I mean, we talked to some officials before the game, enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah.
I won't out which ones they were because a lot of times they like their anonymity, kind of like the
you see up top.
The masked magician, yeah. Kind of like the masked magician we have officials we'll chat with, and they didn't ask us, but we know they normally like to say, don't just out who we are. Had a great conversation with them.
John and Steve and Bill and Mike and.
Looking for that big hop, and they got it, but it was a little flatter. Dolman didn't get a shot at it. It's recovered by the East Leopards. And I believe was it Johnson that got it?
I thought it was Vincent.
No, it was Charlie.
Yep.
Old Charlie. Charlie got it. So East will come out, imagine in victory formation. And nice this one away as they'll go back to the championship game looking for three straight state championships. Coach Matich, for so many years with Park City, even with East, got so close, could not get over the championship hump. And after doing it once, he did it again. And now we'll get back for a third straight opportunity to bring a championship back to the Hill at East High School. And that'll do it. The East High Leopards get a 28-13 win over the Lone Peak Knights and will go to the 6A finals. Dane Stewart, your final thoughts here.
Hey, Lone Peak, wow, what a defensive effort they put in. But when this game comes down to it, a couple of breakdowns, one in the air, a couple on the ground, and that really was the big difference. The offense was able to move, but a bend but don't break approach by East created some turnovers on downs, as well as the interception. And the East Leopards, maybe I'm not going to say out physical. I think this was a pretty evenly matched game. East just took advantage of the opportunities presented, and Lone Peak maybe left a couple go unpunished. We'll put it that way.
Absolutely. You think of a season, and for Lone Peak, a number of years now, getting to Rice Cycle Stadium, unable to get back to the state championship game for their third consecutive year, that had a terrific season nonetheless. And when you look at the East High Leopards, there was only one result that they wanted when the season started, was to get to Rice Cycle Stadium, get to the 6A state championship and give themselves a chance to face the Bingham Miners. Well, they've done their part. Now it's time for the Bingham Miners to take on the Harriman Mustangs, and what we know is it'll be an outstanding 6A final, and it will include the East High Leopards, who moved up a classification to get a better out-of-state and out-of-region schedule. They did it, and then to get to the big championship game where there would be no excuses in who they played, and they got themselves there. Congratulations to Coach Matich and the Leopards, and also congratulations to the Lone Peak Knights, Coach Bart Brockbank in his first year getting to the semifinals. But it is a 28-13 win for the East Leopards over the Lone Peak Knights. For Dane Stewart, Thompson Coles, and our crew, I'm Dusty Litzer. Thanks for joining us and watching the 6A semifinals on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com.